I'm here in the Chompang area, and today we are checking out a Gen Z, Singaporean kind of mala, a hot hideout, in search of the best mala. Gen Z just pisses me off, man. They have their own way of thinking and doing things, and won't let anyone tell them otherwise. A Hot Hideout was founded in 2020 by a group of NTU students. Let me repeat that, 2020 by students. In the year where COVID shut down F&B businesses like their layups against LeBron James, this bunch of students really said, nah, I'll win. The worst part is that they were right. A Hot Hideout recently opened their 4th outlet at Junction 10, and as of the time of shooting this, they are the most recommended mala place that I've gathered from you guys. But is the aura real, chat? One way to find out. Let's get it, guys.
Hey, thanks for watching the video. If you enjoy the content, the best way to support me is what you are doing right now.
Giving me the video watch time.
All of the reviews in this series are strictly unsponsored. If I don't pay for it, I won't talk about it, which means that I have to make money in other ways. Please consider joining as a member of the channel if you can afford to do so, or subscribe if you haven't already. Your support is much appreciated. And now back to the video.
Hello. 吃的。
你要什么辣度，大哥？
大辣吧。
大辣。
大辣啊！你们的麻度是多麻的？
我们是麻油，所以它的麻是一个 standard 的。谢谢。
谢谢。There are two unique selling points to a Hot Hideout. One is their mala collagen base, which you have to assume is the mala hot pot base added with some sort of combination of pork broth and chicken broth. And the second one is that they deep fry stuff. So if you take the potatoes, you take the lotus root, you take the fish, right? Instead of frying it in the wok like the usual, or blanching it and then frying it like I mentioned last episode, they actually cut it up and deep fry first before adding it back into the wok. You know what I say about doneness? This is a very respectable improvisation. It's a bit early for the misses, but their Mala Xiang Guo variety, or rather the range of the ingredients that you can get, are pretty conservative. There is zero tripe, no pork intestine, no beef tripe, no gizzards, nothing really strong tasting. In fact, the whole right side is like all processed food stuff, which is kind of boring for Mala Xiang Guo. Okay, their Mala Tang version, you can already see the collagen congealing on the surface, because thankfully this is an aircon place. And then the Mala Xiang Guo version, you see all the fried stuff on the top, but underneath is that oily mala base. So these are cooked separately. The crispy stuff actually don't get tossed with the mala stuff until you do it yourself. But it is so nice to see like fully crispy stuff with Mala Xiang Guo. Okay, anyway, let's start with the collagen soup. What I'm most curious with is the soup. Okay. Interesting. But I want to hold off my comments first. Let's go on to the Mala Xiang Guo, because I kind of want to like cross dip a bit. But first we give it a little mix. There is very little mala base inside, because I think they're scared like it will become too salty if people don't mix it well. When I'm trying to mix it right, I don't think there's enough for all this fried stuff. All the fried stuff are like barely getting any sauce on them. Let's give this a go. the more I eat, the more things I have to say. In fact, the easier one to talk about is the mala collagen base. All of the ingredients are cooked well, nothing too under, nothing too over, across both bowls. Very straightforward presentation of mala tang. Although if I have one gripe, it is that calling this collagen base a bit pushing it. The collagen part of it feels very cheap and just dunked with the sweetness of MSG. Not to say that it's bad, as a mala tang I think it's still pretty decent, but it doesn't have that thick heartiness that you expect of a collagen base. Spiciness is pretty accurate. I went with Tala today because I figured after the last episode, right, I shouldn't be okay in front of the camera while doing a mala series. And this spiciness is not terribly spicy but pretty up there. And now to the interesting part, the Mala Xiang Guo with the deep fried items. I love it. There is so much love that goes into it. You can almost trace the thinking of the person behind this. Like that person probably like lotus roots a lot, but a lot of places, right, they anyhow cut it. And because of the cooking times that I mentioned in the last episode, sometimes it's just raw in the middle. Not very nice. But here, they cut it with a machine, I think, cause the thinness is too standardized already. And then they deep fried it into such a nice chip. It's like really crispy. And this attention to detail also applies to the fish. Normally when you order this kind of low quality fish, dory fillets, at Mala Xiang Guo, it gets broken in the cooking process. And the resulting texture is not great as well. It's dory fish after all. When you deep fry it like this, right, it's so much tastier. And that presents another hit, which is that the oil used for deep frying this, right, is taken care of very well. You don't feel like there's some sort of off bitterness to it, which means that they probably put in effort to cycle the oil. Like you would think that why is there potato chip, right? But that's because I took the potato, the whole potato, and then they put it into a machine because there's no way you're gonna hand cut this so consistently. And then you have freshly made potato chips. I'm very impressed with the deep fried part of this. Like, I wish this could be like copy pasted to every mala in Singapore. Normally when you order mala xiang guo, right, and you add the egg, right, they will just crack the egg in and fry it in, which makes the mala xiang guo much more fragrant, by the way. I love to add eggs to my mala xiang guo. Here they cook it as a scrambled egg and topped it on top, and the texture is quite impressive. This scrambled egg might be more scrambled egg than some of the cafes that I've been to. But then comes the misses. I don't know if it's because of the split of the ingredients that I ordered, because I ordered a lot of fried stuff for the mala xiang guo, but consequentially, there is very little mala base for the entire bowl. Too little. I tried my best to toss and turn and whatever, right? Try to get more of the sauce onto all the fried stuff, right? It's not tasty enough for most of the ingredients. There is not enough sauce to go around. And this is tricky because there are several considerations to the preparation process. All these stuff that are being deep fried, right, are separate from the ingredients that go into the mala xiang guo. So if I were to take this bowl as example, the amount of ingredients that's being fried with the mala base is very little. It's very intimidating to over add the mala base and then hope that it will work out later on. If your customer don't stir it like very thoroughly, right, this beef will be insanely salty. But now, this beef is just nice, and the rest of the bowl, all the fried stuff have not enough taste. If you order 80% normal ingredients, that means the non-deep fried stuff, and then 20% deep fried stuff, it will make sense. But here, because I wanted to see all the deep fried stuff in the mala xiang guo, it's like 80% deep fried stuff and 20% the normal stuff. So maybe it's a user error. I feel like, yes, you deep fry the stuff separately, but at the last step, all the deep fried stuff go back in and then you toss it one time. Quite a big ask because you really need to control the moisture in the wok. If not, you are deep frying all these ingredients for nothing. If it's plainly oil will not diminish crispiness. If you put a piece of crispy fried chicken and submerged it in oil, right, you can leave it there for 24 hours, the crispiness will still be there. Crispiness is lost when the surface absorbs moisture. So there is something here. There needs to be enough flavor for all this fried stuff. Oh, I need to slot in one more hit. They have free flow, spring onions and coriander. I've been eating with this all this while. So no 1 gram of spring onion, you can get as much as you like. And I really like these aromatics with mala. Like the contrast with the saltiness and the spiciness of mala. If they could have minced garlic there, damn. This is supposed to be 大辣加麻. But because of how dispersed it is with all the fried stuff, right, it's very okay. It's like I'm running out of sauce already. Not bad. Much to think about. Let's take a walk and I'll see you guys at the cafe. We are now at the Daily Scoop, just next door. And I got myself a hot coffee. I initially intended to go for the affogato, but I really cannot. Anyway, recap. Despite the mala collagen base being their signature, right, I don't fancy it too much. Not that it's anything bad, but it's not why I eat mala. It feels too much like a hot pot already, at which point I'd rather go and eat a hot pot. But not that it's bad, I just don't like it. What I do like is their Mala Xiang Guo. I said in the last episode, like, my one factor is doneness, right? And the doneness here is exceeding expectations. Nobody expects you to deep fry an ingredient before adding it to the Mala Xiang Guo. That's beyond how things are normally done. The scrambled egg also, so meticulous. Although, there is something missing. And I know this is such a cop-out kind of thing to say. A lot of people always say, oh, like something missing when it comes to food. So, when you say that there is something missing, you must be able to identify what is missing. For me, there are two things that are missing. That bowl of Mala Xiang Guo didn't have enough ma xiang. They do their ma wei using hoa jiao yu, which is fine. A very easy way to add more numbingness. But numbingness is not just that, tingling sensation on your lips. There is a very, very significant scent that comes with it. That is way more important than actually having the numbingness. If you ever had the chance to whiff like raw peppercorns or crushed peppercorns, that smell is so invigorating. And I recently learned that hoa jiao actually has a lot of health benefits. And this, although I already asked for jia ma in my Mala Xiang Guo, was sorely missing. There is that numbingness. Even now I have a little bit of tingling in my lips, but not the fragrance. And the second thing, I didn't think I would miss it so much. But the lack of innards at the selection, right? Be it pig stomach, intestine, chicken gizzards, duck gizzards, beef tripe, mao tu, like the lack of this range of stuff, right? Those ingredients were something that I really wanted. I don't know how many of you actually like those stuff, but those strong tasting ingredients cooked with mala is... maybe it's really as they say on their signboard, a Singaporean kind of mala, because it's reasonable to think that Singaporeans don't like the ma wei, and Singaporeans, especially the younger ones, might stay away from such strong tasting ingredients. So apply yourself to whatever I just said to see if you like the Mala Xiang Guo at A Hot Hideout. 1 plate I'll walk for the mala, 2 plates I'll take a bus for the mala, and 3 plates I'll go anywhere in Singapore for the mala. And A Hot Hideout is 2 plates. It is so impressive to come into a market that has been saturated for the longest time, cooking a cuisine that has been around for hundreds of years, and do something better than every other player. I don't know, I might be glazing them on the deep fried stuff, but I'm so impressed. I feel like it's only somebody who really cares about food that would think about something like this. I don't know how are you guys' experience, those of you who have came here before, but I think the deep fried stuff needs to be blended way better. Most of the time eating that Mala Xiang Guo, I felt like I was just eating chips. And personally, I'm fine with losing a bit of crispiness if you're able to blend the mala taste even more. Freshly cut, freshly fried potato chips I think that itself is already a business. If you have a store like, getting whole potatoes, slicing it, and then frying it on the spot, pairing it up with sauce, that's a whole business already, right? But to their Mala Xiang Guo is only a mechanic. Am I glazing? I'm not glazing, right? I like it, I really like it. I just about got all the recommendations sorted out, and there are some places that I really want to visit. But for now, that's all I have for you guys this time. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!